Okay, let's look into the business of the day. Today we'll be talking about trading psychology. Yeah, we were speaking about trading psychology for today. There is this problem so many persons have when they step into trading, and what I'll be dealing on mostly when it comes to today, because I don't want to waste much of your time. I'll be speaking about wrong perspective. The problem with most traders is wrong perspective. Sometimes I just feel that the simplicity of the trading industry is sometimes responsible for how people lose money, or responsible for the way with which people get carefree with what is supposed or expected of them. Now, sometimes when I watch new traders or maybe struggling traders, I discover a lot of things about them. One thing with this trading of a thing is that trading will always deal with you and it will reveal yourself to you. 95% of the times, most struggling traders are not dealing with the market, they are only dealing with themselves because the market has a way of appealing to your ego and greed. And if you have not actually come to this level where you have come to understand yourself and you've grown or learned to sit on your hands above unnecessary impulse. Take note of this word, unnecessary impulse. If you've not learned to be calm or inwardly still, trading will have a way to be jacking on those unplanned, extemporaneous, never premeditated move. Trading has a way of triggering those consciousness that you have not been bridled or you've not bridled, but they are ruling you. Now, when it comes to trading, maybe you can sit in front of your computer, you can click the buy or the sell, and it will only cost you a click from your system or your phone, or depending on your trading device. It will only cost you a click, and then you start seeing the figures start rolling out either in positive or negative. And sometimes the simplicity with which these figures are rolling out, positive or negative, sometimes have this kind of toll on your emotions. Let's take, for example, um, as a struggling trader, before you discover that you are struggling, or maybe as a new trader who just ventured into the trading industry, you maybe on your first trade, on your second trade, on your third trade, you discover that you've been winning, you've been hitting profits. There's this kind of thing that make you feel that you've mastered the market. It's yeah, there's this kind of let me use the word silliness you will suffer. It comes as a result of inflated ego when you think that you've mastered the market. And I tell some of my students something. The moment you start feeling as though you've mastered the market, you are in for one of the biggest shock, or one of the most biggest loss, or one of the biggest loss you've ever dreamt of. You've never dreamt of. Yeah. The moment you start feeling as though you've gained mastery of this market, there is a very huge loss that will come your way. And that loss will only come your way just to bruise your ego. It will come your way just to teach you a lesson. Now, what do we do? That's why the first thing I tell people is that get your perspective right. The mindset of winning sometimes can inflate your perspective and make you feel that you are all the market. You are now the market. You are not even the market. And sometimes after several losing streak, you completely get demoralized. You don't even have the guts to click the button again, either to buy or to sell. But one thing you have to take note of is when your perspective is right, you you don't there are so many should I say presumption or assumption, or so many expectations you must have dealt with as far as the market is concerned. You don't just make yourself believe that so and so is eternally possible, or so and so is never possible. Yes, the place of loss mostly well calculated risk, a pre-planned risk, even if it ends as a loss, there is something that happens to your mind. You know that this loss, though it's a loss, you count your losses as the cost of doing business. But because it's a calculated risk, it does not eat you up, it does not blow your account. Because the reason I always tell every trader to get their perspective right, because you don't know the move that is going to be that that's going to be in the blues, that's in the profit, or the move that's going to be in the red, which is in the loss. But there is this edge of having a trading system, because the trading system is one thing that keeps your perspective in check and help your perspective to be right. With a right trading system that you have developed in synchrony with the kind of person you are. There were times I feel like a swing trader, like I don't have that grace of sitting before my computer screen monitoring trade maybe for 2 or 3 hours. I don't have that grace then. I just put up a trade and let it run without even looking at the screen. Let it hit either the take profit or the stop loss. Now there are times I just feel like, okay, I'm cool with myself. I've mastered 1 or 2 setups, and I can sit before the screen and scalp for a complete session. But I discover something at every moment. I tend to violate the kind of person I am. It has I trade with this kind of, let me use the word, a rigged emotion. So most times, if you violate the kind of person you are as a trader, though you are sitting in front of a screen, you might end up doing most of your work with a rigged emotion. That's why, in as much as I see people jumping from one approach or perspective to technical analysis to another, I keep telling them, make sure that whatsoever you are trying to do is in synchrony or is at peace with the kind of person you are. Always learn to discover the kind of trader that you are. There are some persons that cannot sit in front of their screen for so long. Then why you don't have any business scalping? Yes, if you actually feel not at ease with yourself sitting in the front of your screen for so long, you shouldn't have any business scalping. And if you're kind of person that actually has this kind of ease sitting in front of your screen, you want to see the profit or the loss now as it stands, so you should know the next move you're taking, you should do well as a scalper, not trying to swing trade. Because with such a personality that wants to see the result within minutes or maybe in less than few hours, if you are trying to swing or hold trades for long, you're going to discover that you will not be sleeping most of the times. You wouldn't sleep well at night because your mind is going to be on the trade or what has not, or what you think will happen to the trade you've placed. So one thing I tell people is get your perspective right. Always sow your trading personality in tandem with the kind of person you are psychologically, because it doesn't matter the number of webinars, tutorials, courses you pay, you buy, you attend, you try to adopt trading techniques or method. Everything is still going to boil down to the kind of person you are, because what you bring to your trading screen, what you see on your trading screen, on your equity curve, is the reflection of the mindset with which you approach the market. Yes. Sometimes some person is going to be like, I've been struggling to trade this and that. I'll just tell them, send me a screenshot of your equity curve. What are your trading system? What are your trading rules? It sounds so simple, and the difficulty is in its simplicity. This is one truth so many persons have not come to realize. The difficulty of this trading of a thing is in its simplicity. That's why you must have a system that gauges you, that places you in check, that places you, like, make sure you are not getting things out of perspective. You are always right with yourself, and you are now looking at the markets to validate your move or invalidate your move. Validate your move in the place of a take profit or a profit, or invalidate your move in the place of stop loss. That's why everything we are doing as traders is always calculated, is always premeditated. If you catch yourself trying to do things extemporaneously without a kind of forethought or like not you are taking a move that is not reasonably calculated, you're about to put yourself into a kind of spore that will ruin you. The truth is that one mistake can cost you a month of profit, a full month. A minute mistake can cost you a full month. If you are not even careful, months. If you are not equally careful, year of profit. Yes. You don't have a series of winning streaks and you feel like inflating your lot size. And you did not ask yourself, what if this trade ends in a loss? What's going to happen to the already accumulated profits? Now, there are so many places, so many persons get it wrong every now and then. What you have to get right is your perspective. What kind of person are you? And what do you intend to make out of the market? You sometimes I made a post on my YouTube community. I said, in a trade you may not be able to catch the exact top or bottom. You must leave something on the table. But just ask yourself, in a move, what do I tend to gain and what do I intend to lose? Yes, looking at the market, okay, in this move, I intend to gain so and so pips, and the moment the market get to it, I'm off. And in this move, I'm trying to risk so and so pips, so and so pip value relative to my base currency. And if the market goes against me and moves so and so number of pips against me, I'm off. That's why you have a system. And that's why I keep preaching to people the reason to have a system, because trading is a long-term business. That's why if you follow this trading of a thing with a short-term perspective, it's going to seem as though you're a loser. 90% of the time, like, you feel as though you're a loser, because the short-term perspective, you're going to be glued to the quick gains. And the quick gains sometimes can get brutal because of the massive loss, because it's not planned. So from this day, promise yourself to do something. You will be calculated enough. And I equally advise you, sometimes we pay for classes for technical analysis, one or two stuffs, but we don't actually go to streamline our perspective in this trading of a thing. Take courses on trading psychology. It's going to help you. It's going to help you in the long run. A whole lot of things in this trading comes down to psychology and risk management. Psychology and risk management. If you are not calculated in either of these two spheres, you are a gambler. And no, I don't mean to sound derogatory, but if you are not calculated in your psychological mindset or your trading psychology, and if you are not likewise calculated in your should I say risk, you are already blown. You are just waiting to see the reality of a blown account. But that's not what I wish you. This is me wishing you a successful and a happy trading career. More peeps. Thank you.